The game opens with this scene and immediately sets the tone. You love Indy, we love Indy, let's go on an adventure. And if you've never seen the movies, then you get to experience one of the great openings in film history in first person. Creating this game as a first-person adventure was a bold choice, but was it a good one? Indiana Jones and the Great Circle wants to fit right alongside the films, but those have been pretty uneven over the years, so is this one more Last Crusade or Crystal Skull? In a strange twist of fate, this game has to fit inside a genre that's been riffing off the indie movies for decades. This treasure hunt features everybody's favorite professor turned punching bag, Indiana Jones. The game takes place between Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade, so you get peak Indy, grizzled, sarcastic, and somehow surviving a fourth concussion before breakfast. The plot kicks off when Indy gets wrapped up in a globe-trotting adventure featuring shadowy cults, ancient artifacts, and you guessed it, a big ol' secret hidden under the Earth's surface. It's classic pulp action with just a seasoning of supernatural. Basically, it fits right in line with the way the movies blend archaeology and mysticism. But will it keep you on the edge of your seat? So, story-wise, it actually feels like a solid lost film in the franchise. No aliens, thank you. Instead, you've got crumbling temples, bad guys with accents, and Indy quipping every time he almost dies, which is often. Cutscenes are cinematic, and sometimes the action is intense, but a lot of the game is spent in immersive sim territory where you've got to find something with the stuff you have on hand. In other words, the pacing is choppy, but that has less to do with the story and more to do with the gameplay in between. Side characters range from, hey, I remember you, to, you're clearly gonna betray me later, but for the most part the writing holds up. There's one scene on a blimp that legit looks like it was storyboarded in 1985, and I mean that in the best way possible. Troy Baker does a great job stepping into the fedora. Is he Harrison Ford? No, but he walks the fine line between impersonation and making it his own.
You have any idea how old that was?
In short, he does a fantastic job and is one of the highlights of the game. But can the character models keep up? Graphically, this game is beautiful. We're talking detailed ruins, shifting sand dunes, lush jungles, and the occasional Nazi lair with highly questionable interior decorating. Lighting and shadows play a big role in the atmosphere, and there are a few set pieces that rival the best of Uncharted. Yeah, I said it. Facial animations can be a bit stiff at times, and I mentioned how great Troy Baker sounds as Indy, but visually the character often looks like he's thinking about something else, and the character model is just a little off. Sometimes it looks just like Harrison Ford, but usually it looks more like a stunt double or something. But the UI is clean, immersive, and doesn't hold your hands like you're auditioning for a tutorial video. I should take a moment to point out that if you're a busy gamer like me and you have a tendency to pick up a game and then maybe not play it for a week or two or come back a month later, this might be a difficult game for that. I have to admit, I put the game down for a few weeks, I came back to it, and I'm ashamed to admit how long it took me to remember how to put an object away once you had it in your hands. You use the left D-pad for everything, but to put it away, it's the Y button. It took me a long time to figure that out. There is a bit of goofiness though. Sometimes Indy's hands and feet look downright janky, and that has everything to do with a game design decision that had us all scratching our heads before this game launched. Alright, let's get to the meat. The gameplay. This is where things get interesting. MachineGames decided to take one of the most recognizable characters in all of pop culture and push him out of frame for a first-person adventure. I was really skeptical about this because these games usually require a lot of climbing and clambering, and you really need a third-person view for that. But the developers understood this, and the camera will pop in and out of first person as needed. As soon as you start climbing something, the view changes, and it happens really seamlessly. The first-person view does set up some cool moments, like when you see your shadow and you remember, oh yeah, I'm Indy freaking Jones. But for the most part, I don't really understand what a first-person view adds or improves in a game like this. It doesn't suck, and it's more enjoyable than I thought it would be, but I still think character-driven adventure games like this are better off in third person. But hey, I appreciate that this one's different. Most of the gameplay is a mix of stealth, melee, and puzzle solving, and there's a lot of stealth. Whipping a gun out of a Nazi's hand never gets old, neither does bashing someone with a frying pan, just like in that one movie. What was it? You do a lot of head bashing here, and you do it with any blunt object you can find. There's no silent stabbing or quiet sleeper hold. He straight up bludgeons people and he doesn't think twice. Kind of like the way I bludgeon people with hard facts about games, and okay, that analogy isn't working. But hey, I like to have a good time here, and you can hit that like and subscribe for more videos like this. Guns are punchy but grounded. Ammo is limited, they're loud. You're not really here to be a super soldier. You're here to be a clever archaeologist with very poor impulse control. I think I used my gun about twice in the first 15 hours of gameplay, and I knew I had screwed something up anytime I had to use it. But hey, I'm a stealth junkie, so your mileage may vary. Platforming it's fine. Some ledge grabs feel a bit off, like Indy forgot he's not 70 yet. Traversal isn't really a focal point in this game like it would be in Tomb Raider or Uncharted, but it's there. The puzzles they're okay. Some are straightforward, some are more challenging, but I pretty much always felt smart when I solved them. There were a few though that were buzzkills, but they're mostly enjoyable, especially when you can use your whip in fun, context-sensitive ways. So here's the thing, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is not just riding the coattails of a great IP. It's clearly made by people who get what made those movies magic. It feels cinematic, the tone is adventurous but not self-serious, and it lets you live out that fantasy of being the guy who's just barely keeping it together while saving the world. There's one part where I'm trying to solve a puzzle and a tomb's collapsing around me and Indy's muttering something like, I should have retired after the last tomb almost collapsed on me. It's moments like that that really give the game heart.
Can't just run away from your problems, Indiana.
Watch me.
I mean, heroes in movies used to always be the strongest or the fastest or the smartest. In the early 80s, Indiana Jones was one of the first mainstream heroes that was just barely competent. He's always getting in over his head, and he's no stranger to failure. This game gets that, and even though that's pretty much a standard hero in storytelling these days, this game still makes Indy feel unique and worth following. Okay, so it's not all sunshine and relics. There are some pacing dips that just can't be avoided with the immersive sim format and a monastery section in the game that just dragged on way too long. The stealth system is a bit too binary. You're either a ghost or you're being shot at in all directions. And it's not always clear whether you'll be seen or not, because the game rewards you for stealth, but it never commits fully to being a stealth game. Like this guy right here. Some enemies are more perceptive than others, and I've been spotted from further away, but I've also been able to sneak by with somebody looking right in my direction. Also, while the whip is a fun tool, sometimes the game's just unsure about how to use it. Sometimes it's contextual, and other times it's just not even an option, even when it clearly should be. It's like the whip union went on strike for a few levels. The story is good, but it plays it a bit safe. No huge emotional gut punches, nothing that'll leave you thinking about it a few days later. It's a fun ride for sure, but it's not on the same level as some other gems in the genre. I had some gripes, but I enjoyed my time in the game anyway. So would you? Using the Quantic Foundry gamer motivational model, here's who should smash and who should pass. If you're into action, there's plenty of thrills and you can make as much chaos as you can handle. There's no real social aspect to the game, it's strictly single player. For mastery, the game isn't too skill-based, but there is some strategy, not just in the puzzles, but also in trying to get from point A to point B without being seen. There's a lot for the completionists out there, with lots of stuff to find and explore. There's a ton of immersion here as you truly feel like the hero in another Indiana Jones movie. And there's a little bit of discovery, but overall I'd say there's not a lot of creativity in the gameplay. You're not going to be customizing whips or setting mouse traps in motion to see what they do. Overall, it's a game for story-driven, immersion-focused players who want to feel like Indy, not just play as it. The game launched in 2024 on Xbox and PC, and is now available on PlayStation 5 because Bethesda and Xbox can't be tied down like that. Okay, look, I'm a stealth junkie, and I have no problem with the game incorporating stealth, but there's just something about the way this game leans so heavy on sneaking around, but doesn't really give you the tools to do it. There's no instinct mode, the map doesn't show you vision cones or that sort of thing, which makes sense with the character and the context of the story, but that means you're flying blind, and I just didn't find that very satisfying or compelling. I also think the immersive sim aspect of the game really sapped the momentum right from it. There were times where it just felt like a lot of walking around with some cutscenes slapped in from time to time, and I don't know, it wasn't the thrill ride I expected it to be. But hey, it's a great indie adventure. For fans of the franchise, it's absolutely worth it. It's a fun throwback that respects the source material while doing just enough new to feel fresh. Not every punch lands, and a few puzzles will make you want to flip a table, but it's a game that doesn't try to be too much. It's not trying to compete with prestige games or make you forget about all gaming. There's no daily logins or endless in-game. It's just trying to put a smile on your face while you escape a trap and punch a few cultists in the mouth. And honestly, that's enough. And I kind of waffled on this one, but ultimately, I give it a thumbs up. Have you played it? Did my experience match up with yours? Tell me about it, and tell me what you thought of that tier list at the beginning.